weren't able to see if there's anybody online.
No. Nothing on yours? Okay, all right. Well, we might make a start. So welcome to the College of Nursing and Health Sciences Orientation Program. You may already have attended some other orientation events already this week. We're absolutely delighted to welcome you all as our mid-year intake for 2022. First of all, I would like to acknowledge and pay our respects to the traditional custodians of the land upon which we meet. So I'm standing here on Ghana land, at the Flinders Bedford Park State campus. Some of you might be joining us online from other Aboriginal lands across South Australia or maybe beyond. So we would like to acknowledge and pay our respects to the elders of this land, both past and present, and certainly welcome any Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander students or staff who are meeting us here in the room or also online. So welcome. So we've already had this up, and hopefully most of you now have connected with the event app. So we'll be doing a few little interactive things through the course of the session just to gather some important information from you. So please do connect to us through the app if you can, and there'll be a couple of interactive polls and things that we'll be asking some information of you during the session. So if you haven't already, I presume that you have because you're here, do connect with the O-Week events that are scheduled across the university for Orientation Week, which is this week. Orientation though, and kind of transitioning to uni, of course, doesn't just stop at the end of this week. So the university does schedule a number of orientation events and transition events.
Can you hop on a lapel? It might not be switched on.
It is switched on. I might just hold it. Oh, that's better. Hold it closer. One sec. Okay, I'll hold this closer. So yes, there are other transition events that are scheduled over the coming weeks. So it doesn't just all stop at the end of this week. We have Connect Week that runs next week. So once you've logged into the orientation platform, you'll be able to see some of the other events that run over the coming weeks to help you really get set up well for starting uni. But here in this session, we welcome you to the Bachelor of Health Sciences Welcome and Orientation. As I say, we're absolutely delighted that you've joined us here as our mid-year cohort in 2022. And there's a few different aims of this session. One is connecting and communicating with staff, getting to know some of the staff and understanding who the key people are that would be your key contacts over the coming weeks, months, years. And also connecting and communicating with some other students. Obviously we want to make sure, so the Bachelor of Health Sciences, you'll see as we move through, has many different specialisations and different options available to you. That's its strength, is the flexibility of the program, but what that means is that we need to make sure that you actually are correctly enrolled in the right topics in particular. So we want to help you ensure that you understand the requirements of the degree and how to get help with your course if you need it. And then the third aim is really to orient yourself, so to get a sense of where you are, where the BHS can take you, and what planning you might need to do from here. So just an overview of the session. We have scheduled the session for a total of 2 hours. We're hoping to sort of finish the formal proceedings in about an hour and a half or so, and then give you a sense, give you the opportunity for those in the room to have a bit of a tour of the campus, if you like, and for those online to have the opportunity to maybe stay back and ask any specific individual questions of Jane Harford, who's our Student Engagement Coordinator, and I'll introduce her in a little bit. So we'll be doing a welcome introduction from myself. You'll get to meet some of our teaching team members. You'll hopefully get a really good understanding of how and who to go to for course and study advice, opportunity for Q&A, and then, as I say, a chance to meet some of our existing students who are already in the program to hear about their experiences. So, firstly, I didn't introduce myself. So my name's Jessie Shipman. I'm a senior lecturer in the health sciences team here at Flinders Uni. I'll introduce myself in another context shortly, but I'm here to welcome you today and just give you a bit of an overview. I'll introduce you to some of the key people and the different roles that they take in the program shortly. But firstly, so our first interactive poll. So if you can log into the event app and open that up, you should now find that you've got access to a question there. What are your long-term plans? We want to get just a sense, you don't have to have this nailed down at the moment, but what are your long-term plans for where you want the BHS to take you? What was your kind of main purpose in enrolling and in terms of your vision for where you want to be in a few years' time? So if you could just enter a few keywords. What you might do is if there's 2 or 3 words in a row that you want to use to describe that, you can use an underscore in between those words to get a phrase that will then show up in our word cloud. And we're just going to gather all of those different long-term plans into a word cloud so we can get a bit of a sense of where you want the BHS to take you. So if you're playing along at home, please do that through your app, and those of you in the room can do it too. Just give you another half a minute or so to do that. We won't hold you to it in 3 years' time. We're not going to sit you down and grill you on what you answered, but just some general ideas.
So can you see the word cloud in the app?
Has it come up?
So I can see it here. Can't see it very well because it's tiny. I don't know that we can
Show it on the screen.
show on the screen either.
So hopefully you can all see in the word cloud some your own and also the answers of other people. Yeah.
Can I make a comment about it? So
Can you hear? Yeah. So it's shrunk on my screen, but I can see that the largest number of respondents have said physiotherapy, and that's pretty standard. Physiotherapy, occupational therapy are 2 of the long-term plans that a lot of people who start the health science degree have. I think I can also see paramedics and occupational therapy. I can see somebody who wants to be a CNC in palliative care. That's a clinical nurse consultant. So somebody who's already got a lot of experience, I guess, in the healthcare system. Somebody who wants to work in Aboriginal health. I can't see what the verb is there because it's too small. Psychology. Improve. Oh, thank you. So you if you can see that word cloud, you'll see that the people who come to health sciences have a really broad range of aspirations, and the Bachelor of Health Sciences is a great place to start your university journey, and we hope that some of you will stay on with us in the long term as well.
So that brings us really nicely to the next section of this, which is to talk to you about where you might be planning to go and what you might want to be thinking about doing to get you there. also thinking about backup plans. So the word cloud, so I have got them up on my phone now, James, so I can see them, so that's helpful. So as James described, this is fairly common. The word cloud that you see in front of you is fairly common in terms of the way that students come into the Bachelor of Health Sciences program. Noticeably, there's no one on there who said, I want a career in health sciences specifically, because what would that mean? What would that look like? So the Bachelor of Health Sciences is a really flexible program that we know students come to for a whole range of reasons, but often to get you somewhere in terms of postgraduate study, to get you somewhere into a particular profession, but also might get you somewhere in health, but you're not quite sure where you want to go yet specifically. You haven't got a named profession, but you know that you want to do something, and so that's showing up there in some of those responses. So what we advise students to do is you might have a very clear, definite plan. You want to come into the BHS to get you to X. We know from the majority of students who come into the program that that's their goal, but that often they will move away from that goal and find a different goal along the way, which is something that is not unusual. And something we certainly celebrate when students come into the Bachelor of Health Sciences and find that actually they thought they wanted to go over here, but now they want to go over here. Or in some instances, they want to get somewhere, but potentially they might not actually succeed in getting into a program that they want to transfer into. So whilst we, of course, support you and encourage you and celebrate along the way the successes of getting to where you want to go, absolutely, we're rooting for you for that. But we also are mindful that we want you to come up with some plans B and plan C along the way, so that you've got a backup plan if that doesn't eventuate. And essentially what we want to say is that the Bachelor of Health Sciences could help you get somewhere else, but it actually is a wonderful degree in and of itself to complete in terms of giving you lots of different options. So you'll have already seen there are different specialisations that you can enrol in, but that the Bachelor of Health Sciences gives you transferable skills to connect into lots of different pathways. So make some plans now. I would recommend making a note to yourself to sort of go away from this session and think, okay, I've got this dream goal. I'm going to work my hardest to get there. If I don't know, what would be an alternative option that I'd be feeling comfortable with in a couple of years' time? And where can the BHS take me other than that plan A? So I love this picture because we might all gravitate towards one of these beautiful shiny windows, but that's not to say that some of those other colourful shiny windows have other adventures behind them that you might want to explore. So the nitty-gritty of our course rule. Those of you in the room, you can obviously look at the slides later on at a later date. Those of you online, hopefully you'll be able to access the slides. You can actually click through to all of the different course rules for our different specialisations. So you may well have already decided on a specialisation, but we just want you to become really familiar with your course rule. Because if you click into any of these links to go and have a look at the different course rules, you'll see that there are slight variations in terms of the topics that you're asked to enrol into, and the order that you might want to take those or might need to take those. So get familiar with the course rule from the outset, and we'll be talking a little bit more further on in terms of getting course advice or enrolment advice on that. But if these are not familiar, you might see up on the screen absolutely the course that you're enrolled in. If you're not sure about your specialisation, then have a look and start to explore. So in the health sciences, we've got a couple of other degrees listed up there that you might want to also have a look at. So we have the diploma in health sciences listed on the right-hand side. So if, for example, you were to complete 36 units of study in the Bachelor of Health Sciences and then move on somewhere else or choose to exit, it's worth looking at the Diploma in Health Sciences as an exit degree that you could be qualified for. There's also a 72-unit degree called an Associate Degree in Health Sciences, which similarly, if you maybe make it through complete 2 full years or the equivalent of studying the Health Sciences degree, and then again decide to move on elsewhere, that you could exit with an associate degree in health sciences. So in terms of planning out your plan A, B, C, D, consider those as well in the mix, if you think that might be something else that you could consider. We also have a couple of graduate entry programs. So the Bachelor of Letters Health, you might find yourself in classes with Bachelor of Letters students. So Bachelor of Letters is in total a sort of 1 year equivalent program that sometimes students who are wanting to come back into uni or change pathway from a particular career moving into health, they might come in, but they're already a graduate of another program, they might come into the Bachelor of Letters of Health. And the Bachelor of Health Sciences Honours. So one of the hats that I wear is Honours Course Coordinator, and I strongly encourage you to think of an honours program, a research pathway, as one of your plans. So one of those plans A, plan B, plan C. Think about health research as a career pathway. And our Bachelor of Health Sciences Honours program, which is a 1 year that you would complete after you finish the undergrad, would be worth having a look at as somewhere aspirational to lead to in terms of thinking about your postgraduate options. So I've already talked a little bit about this, the flexibility of our course. You can study full-time or part-time. Obviously you might have started out full-time, but sometimes life happens and you need to shift to part-time study. So that's certainly possible with our Bachelor of Health Sciences programs. You can undertake a mixture of internal and online topics. Obviously, this used to be something that set us out from the crowd, but I think most courses now would have, after the last couple of years, be a lot more on top of online learning. But we have a long history of delivering our content online, so you can mix and match if you need that flexibility. Some of the highlights, or I guess the key threads that run through our undergraduate program, are that we build an interdisciplinary understanding of health. So you're not just looking at the biological anatomy, you do that, but we also look at the psychological and sociological aspects of health as well. We build your research skills and evidence-based practice, and this is an area we're all really passionate about as a teaching team. We've been redeveloping our research skills topics to scaffold you through really well through the program. So that's something that we're all really passionate about, and you'll see that you start that on day one in your first topic in Health 1010. And as I've said before, we in the Bachelor of Health Sciences, we're very familiar with students coming in and not being absolutely certain about where they want to go, and the transferable skills that you learn in our program will equip you for a whole range of jobs that we may not have even heard of yet. So the job market, we know, is shifting dramatically very quickly, and the jobs that will be being advertised in 2 or 3 years' time for you, we might not have even heard of yet. There'll be new innovative positions that the transferable skills you'll build up through this program will make you really well placed to apply for a whole range of things. We do have an opportunity for a non-clinical placement in your final year. National and international exchange opportunities are starting to come back online now that things are starting to open up a bit, so worth looking at that if you're interested. And some of the key areas for future growth and certainly for future job opportunities for our health sciences graduates we know are around country health, working in ageing, digital health and health technologies, social enterprise and innovation, so start-up businesses, health promotion organisations. That we've got some wonderful graduates who've started their own health promotion organisations, and health research, as I've already mentioned. Okay, so now back over to you. Hopefully I've given the course a little pump up, but what are you most excited about in starting at Flinders Uni? So if you can hop onto the app and enter in a word or two about what you're most excited about coming into uni in 2022. All right, hopefully most of you have been able to complete that now. Just a few more seconds. Oh, okay. So we have developing my academic skills, the subjects you're about to study, a new learning environment, and learning and connecting. So developing your academic skills, obviously something that we'll build through the program for you, absolutely. The subjects you're about to study, it's lovely to hear you're enthusiastic about the different subjects. As I say, we do a whole range of different health-related subjects, giving a really well-rounded understanding of health. A new learning environment, so yes, online or in person. We have a really vibrant campus here at Sturt, and it's all really lovely to teach students face-to-face and to work with you all. But hopefully you'll find that there has been a lot of work done in the online space too to make that as interactive and engaging as possible for you. So whether internally on campus or online, hopefully it will be a great environment for you. And then learning and connecting. I think connection is something that we think is really important, and making sure that you maintain connection with us as staff and also with your peers. Well, hopefully you'll make lots of great friends along the way and good connections. Okay, so I'm just going to skip through a couple of slides so that we can get on to meeting the team. But the BHS will give you, as I say, an interdisciplinary health foundation to prepare for a wide variety of jobs. There's a few examples there of some of the jobs that our graduates have gone on to undertake. But also, importantly, it gives you the prerequisites, or can give you the prerequisites or the research and analytical skills to prepare you for postgraduate study if that's where you want to go, whether that be a professional postgraduate program or going through the research programs in terms of honours and then maybe on to something beyond that. So moving to communication, hopefully you're already familiar or have logged on for the first time to Flow. Flow will be, it may seem a bit clunky and unfamiliar at the moment, but it will become, very familiar very quickly because it's where all of your kind of online, all of your teaching materials are stored. So whether you're studying internally or online, Flow is where you need to access your teaching materials. Jane?
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
Have you all found Flow?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Mostly nodding, that's good. If you haven't found Flow, make that, in your top 3 of next things to do. We use your university email address for all correspondence, so try to make that shift to using your university email address because now that you're kind of enrolled as a student, we won't be emailing your personal email addresses that you might have used before. And our student experience coordinator, who you'll meet in a minute, Jane, is one of your go-to people in terms of seeking support in terms of your study plans or in terms of your general sort of engagement and progress in the course. So we also have, just to give a plug, we also, as well as using Flow for your individual subjects, or we call them topics, your topics that you'll be studying, there is also a Bachelor of Health Sciences General Information Flow site. And so if you haven't already found that, you should be able to access that as a student enrolled in the program. And so find that and tag that as one of your favourites in your bookmarks. And now, you've had enough of my voice, so we're going to meet some members of our team. So, firstly, we have our Bachelor of Health Sciences course coordinator, Sarah Louise White. So, Sarah Louise, do you want to come down and just say a quick hi, or do you want to you can do it from there if you like. They'll see you on the screen though if you come down here, so that might be better, sorry.
I think it's always better to put a face to
Yeah.
things as well, isn't it? That's the hardest thing about teaching online. Thanks, Jessie. Is this one okay? Yeah, lovely. It really is an honour to welcome you. We're very proud of our degree and thrilled that you actually made it on campus to join us. So thank you. I'm Sarah Louise White. I coordinate the Bachelor of Health Sciences. I also am the specialisation advocate for neuroscience and physiology, so I don't know if anyone here. You are? Oh, good. If you've got any questions, then welcome to email me. Email is generally the best way to contact me if you've got any questions. I know this week you're probably going to be overwhelmed with lots of information. Probably my recommendation would be make sure that you've checked your enrolment and make sure you know who to go to for help. So Jane will introduce herself in a minute, and as a student engagement coordinator, study plan questions, we work together as a team, and we're very proud of our topics, and I welcome you. I welcome Jessie as the honours coordinator. Any questions for me while I'm here?
If I start online with VHS, could I change it to in-person next semester?
Yes, yeah. Yeah, so the question for those of you at home was if you study, which way round was it, online this semester? Yeah, studying online this semester, can you change to in-person next semester? Yes. You can choose that based on your topic enrolment, so you can go topic by topic, even in terms of which topics you want to study online and which topics you want to study on campus. Yeah, and not all topics are available completely online, but most of them will be. It depends a bit on your specialisation, but the majority of them are. So thanks, Sarah Louise. And so just to again come back to my other hat, which is as the BHS Honours Coordinator. You probably won't hear very much from me on that regard in the next 6 months or a year, but as you start to move through those research and studies skills topics, we start to sort of build a bit more contact with you, and you'll see around the campus at the moment we've got some posters up for our Honours Month events, and you're very welcome to come along to those this year if you want, or in the next couple of years. We have that every year, so if you're interested and just want to hear a bit more about Honours as a potential future pathway, just make a note of the information on some of the posters that you'll see around the campus at the moment, and by all means come along. It's open to all, whatever level you're at the moment. Okay, so topic coordinators. So across our specialisations, these are our common 5 first year topics that you'll all be enrolling in your first year. Some of them you might be enrolled in this semester, some you might be taking in semester 1 of 2023. Just the time of year, having a little bit of a break before semester probably starts up next week, so some of these topic coordinators are on leave at the moment, but we do have a couple of them here in the room. So Rowena and Pen, I might just ask you to come down. You've already met Sarah Louise White, who also coordinates Health 1004, which is human bioscience, but I'll also introduce you to Rowena, who is coordinating that at the moment. To introduce yourself.
So hi everyone, I want to as well welcome you. My name is Ruwaida Slim. For this semester, semester 2, I'm going to be the topic coordinator for 1004. During the semester, please make sure if you've got any questions, just email me. I'm more than happy to help you. And wish you all the best.
Thanks, Rowena. And here's Penroe, Dr. Penroe.
Thank you, Dr. Jessie Shipman. So I look after 1306, which is Contemporary Health Issues in Australia. And Mitchell, nice to see you. Very good. What am I talking about? Anything.
Best way to get in contact, or any tips for starting out this semester?
Come to class. That's always a really good tip. Even though a lot of it's, well, you can do everything online, but we definitely find if you're actually in the room, you have a much better chance of understanding, because this topic, 1306, is a tricky topic. It looks easy, but it's actually quite difficult to pass. It's not the kind of, you've got to think about things. You have to interrogate, analyse. And so you do that better when you're in the room with others compared to just being remotely looking at the text and working out from there. It's hard to get a right and wrong answer in 1306, so being in the room really makes a big difference.
Thanks, Ben.
Email's best. Yes.
Okay, so hopefully Pen and Rueda's faces will become very familiar to you, but as we sort of, the common thread is to stay in contact and communicate, and whether you're in an online tute group or in an internal tute group, the tutorial tasks, the tutorial engagement is absolutely critical to learning, because it's that space where you get to unpack new ideas, new knowledge, and think about how best to apply it. So we find that the general rule of thumb is that the more you engage, the more you'll get out of your topics. Okay, so course and study advice, as we've already kind of alluded to, it's really key to make sure that whichever strand of the BHS, whichever specialisation you're in, you're across the course rule. But that said, even if you think you're completely familiar with the course rule, sometimes you might need to make a switch for some reason. You might want some advice on which options or electives to take, or life happens and you need to make a more substantial shift in terms of your study. So we have some wonderful staff in the college who can support you, and we have the College Nursing and Health Sciences course and enrolment advice team. And one of your key contacts in that team is Kate, so I'll introduce Kate now, and she might be able to talk a little bit more about her role, but also the role of the advisors more generally.
Yes.
Welcome, Kate.
Thank you, Jessie. Hi, everyone. So I work in the Student Administrative Services team. So we have our main office for the college down in the North Wing, level 1, near the cafe. So when you do a bit of a tour, I'm sure that will get pointed out. Good spot to pop in if you're ever unsure about where you're going or got any generalised campus questions as well. We've always got staff there between 8:30 and 5. So my role, and there are a number of us in the college that work as course and enrolment advisors. Essentially, if you've got any queries about your study plan, your enrolment, perhaps reducing load, looking at maybe other programs within the college, credit is a big one if you have any queries about that as well. It's best to come through us in the first instance. We can generally help you out with that. So the best way to make contact is through Ask Flinders. So you will have an Ask Flinders on your Opta dashboard. The reason that is the best is because then it can always be viewed by whoever has access to that system. So it might be staff at Flinders Connect, staff in other colleges if you ever move around. So I can see all the history. You can't lose your emails through that either, because you can always go back and look at your closed cases. You've got things in writing to refer back to, perhaps a study plan attached or links. And you also get a case number when you submit it, so you know that it's in the system. Whereas with an email, you might be a little unsure if, it takes a little while. Generally, when we're not too busy, we're getting back to you within 1 to 2 days. It can go out to 3 to 5 at the absolute worst. So, it's pretty timely, generally within the week. So, and there's other staff in the college as well. Like if you do end up doing a placement, there's placement team. There's those that can help you with perhaps changing availabilities if you've got questions with that as well, and classes. So basically what we do.
Thanks ever so much, Kate. Okay, and you've already heard about our student engagement coordinator in a number of different spots, but I will now hand over to Jane Harford to talk to you a bit more about her role. You okay with that one?
Thanks, Jessie. So good afternoon, and I met some of you as you were coming in, which was lovely to do, but I'm afraid I haven't spoken to all of you yet, but hopefully I will for those who are in the room before you leave. And for anyone who's online, certainly if you post any questions to the Q&A, I'll pick them up and follow up with you with an answer to those. My role broadly as Student Engagement Coordinator is to work with students to provide support and advice around a range of issues related to their studies, and I complement Kate's role. Kate will sometimes refer students to me when their questions are tricky or their circumstances are tricky, and it requires a little bit of additional thinking and exploring to come up with some answers that might help students. The sorts of things that I can help with, where you might think about coming to me first rather than going through Ask Flinders, is you are actually not sure about your specialisation, and you want to think about how do the different specialisations fit into future study opportunities. So if you're thinking about studying a postgraduate qualification for one of the health professionals, how can we make sure that you've got a study plan that sets you up for that, or for a range of options if you're not sure where you think your future area of study will be. Most or all of the specialisations in a standalone Bachelor of Health Sciences have a number of elective topics. Elective topics are a great opportunity to select topics strategically, either to to choose topics that play to your strengths because you're hoping to achieve a high GPA, or topics that allow you to add another string to your BHS bow, or to make sure that you qualify for a range of postgraduate programs. So for those more career orientated sort of questions, I would be happy to hear from you first. And sometimes I talk to students who are struggling with their studies, struggling with settling into university, and just ensuring that they have thought about all of the resources and services and supports that are available at Flinders, and there are a large number of them. Often they're students, they're hard to know about until you need them, because there's so much information that comes to you. I can tell you now, you'll get dozens and dozens of emails about all sorts of things. So I often work with students just to make sure that they've identified all of those things that are useful. I also work with the course coordinator in partnership, working with the student reps, and Mitchell will talk to you in a few minutes about student-led activities that we have in the program. I do wear another hat. I teach as well, so I don't teach any core first year topics, but I'll probably see some of you in Pen's topic, which, can I say, she undersold. Okay. It's a great topic where you learn actually about how the health system functions, and start to understand some of the debates that you will be hearing in the media about what's wrong with our health system and what the solutions are, but also to help you to think about what does the structure of the healthcare system mean for my future professional practice. So I think it's a really interesting topic, and I think it will be really useful and practical for you both as a citizen but also as a future health professional. So jump in with both feet and come to class if you can. Okay. Yes. There we go. Okay, so really I think you've covered this already,
Yeah.
Jessie, yep. Okay. All right, so who do we have in the room? Let me see, I did ask a few students on the way in, which degree. So there should be a poll on the app for you. Can you let us know which degrees which specialisation is studying? One of the things that Jessie talked about was connection, and one of our ambitions for you today is to actually leave the session actually knowing one or two other students, at least having introduced yourselves to one or two other students who are starting this semester as well. So it would be good for us to see who's in the room and what you have in common. And you should be able to see the results in the app. Yep, cool. Love it when a plan comes together. So you'll see from can you see the results? You can all see the results. So most of you haven't selected a specialisation. which means either you're not quite sure what you want to do or you've got really firm plans for 2023 that rely on a GPA. So we recognise that that's a key reason why a number of you are here, and we'll support you as best we can to achieve that ambition. I think we've got a couple of students who are doing psychology. Who are the people doing psychology? Okay? Sitting next to each other. Have you already introduced? Okay, so you guys are doing the same specialisation. And I think we've got somebody doing physiology and neurology. So everybody else in the room's no specialisation.
It wasn't therapy study. So I couldn't fit it.
Oh, I apologise. Therapy studies didn't come up. Okay. Anyone else doing therapy studies? Okay. So future physio or OT?
Oh, physio.
Physio?
Hopefully.
OT? Okay. Good. All right. Excellent. So just remember that for many of the specialisations there is flexibility to move, particularly if you're in the no specialisation BHS. You can rethink your decision about a specialisation depending on which specialisation you're in and how far down the track you are. So just do keep that in mind. And again, Kate and or I can help you to look at what your options are if you come to a decision that you would like to change specialisations. Okay, so Jessie listed the topics, the first year core topics, the 5 of them. Ideally, none of you are actually taking 5 topics this semester. It is possible, but we wouldn't recommend it. But you should certainly be enrolled in the research and study skills topic for your first semester. That topic is deliberately designed to help you to develop a whole range of skills, both academic and research skills, that will help underpin your work in other topics. So it really provides some foundation skills that people, topic coordinators for other topics will assume that you have as you move through the program. So that's definitely the first one that you should take. The other 4 that are listed there, you can take in either semester. Think about, what kind of pace, what kind of balance you would like across different types of topic in the semester. And again, if it helps to chat about that choice, you're most welcome to come and talk to me. There are option topics for the specialisations. Option topics are taken from a list. So you don't get to choose any topic, you can only choose the topic in the list, but the list's quite long. I think it's about 15 topics for most of your specialisations. So there's quite a range of possibilities for you to test out some areas that you might not have thought about, but that could be interesting to do a topic in. See if that's something that you want to go ahead with. They're also a great opportunity to select a topic that plays to your strengths if you are looking for topics to boost your GPA. Elective topics are slightly different. For an elective topic, you can choose any topic in the university that you are eligible for, so that you meet prerequisites for, and that's at the right year level for the option, for the elective that you're taking. So again, another opportunity to really expand your horizons and take topics that meet your broader goals for your study. Okay, so do we have anybody in the room on the app again? Have you all enrolled in all of your topics for semester 1 following the study plan? Okay, so I can see at least one no. So I'm not going to ask you to identify yourself, but it would be worth catching up with me before you leave, just to check that you've got a plan for that, to make sure that you're on track. Teaching starts next week, and if you've got a tutorial on Monday or Tuesday, you'll probably need to get some work done for that before Monday. So it's important to make sure that you're enrolled in all your topics this week if we can. Good. All right. Is there anybody in the room or online who would like some advice about topic enrolments? So I've put a poll there. If you just type your name in, your first name and your last name, I'm not going to put that up, but that's a way of me registering that you want to talk with me more, and I'll get in touch with you if you pop your name into that poll. All right. Are there any questions that anybody has? You can ask in person, or you can pop them into the Q&A if you'd rather not.
I was just looking at the lectures and everything. Can you turn those in person, or do they have to be online?
So, since COVID hit, we have no online lectures for most topics anymore, just because, partly because of the logistics of having large numbers of people in rooms together, and we have a lot of very large topics, and when everybody's in the room together, the room's packed. So a decision's been made that for the time being, we'll only offer lectures online, which makes coming to tutorials either online or face-to-face on campus all the more important for your learning now. As Pen said, there's nothing like being in the room, even in the online room is better than sitting at home and trying to nut through the content. And I can see Mitchell nodding his head. And until you actually experience it and see it in action, it's really hard to explain how qualitatively different it is. And certainly if you're doing human bioscience, you can't actually get to see the body bits up close if you're online like you can if you're in the lab.
Nobody would want to miss that.
And nobody would want to miss that. Yeah. Good, great question.
To read the questions to you, Jane.
What's the GPA to get into Bachelor of Health Sciences Honours? Do you want to take that one?
Yeah, sure. Come on. So the GPA to get into honours in the Bachelor of Health Sciences, the Bachelor of Health Sciences honours is GPA of 5 or above. So you need to be sort of aiming for a credit average across the degree.
Can I just decode that?
Yeah.
The credit is a mark between 65 and 74%.
Yeah. Thank you. So that means over the course of your study that you would come out with an average of between 64 and 75% at least, to then be able to apply it to into the honours program. But don't be disheartened. Just on that, so coming back to sort of grades, don't be disheartened if you don't sort of get the grades that you're thinking you're aiming for in your first sort of semester or two. It's perfectly normal. Welcome everyone. It's perfectly normal to sort of come in and then as you find your feet for grades to kind of increase. So don't base your aspirations, don't base your plan A, plan B, plan C necessarily on your first semester of study. Obviously give it your absolute best shot, but it's quite common for grades to increase as you move through the program, as you kind of get to grips with how to study. So don't write things off is what I'm saying too early on. Does that make sense?
Two things happen. You get better at being a student, but also you have more, you get to choose more things that are really of interest to you and help you to keep the momentum that underpins the good grades. Would that be fair? Sure.
Any other questions? Anything from the online students who are watching at home? Please do pop your questions into the chat in the app. And if we don't get to them immediately in this session, we'll certainly come back to questions. So if, as we move through the next section, you think of a question, please do still put it in there, and we'll make sure that we either get back to it in this session or we contact you afterwards if needs be, but we'll come back to them.
And I've got have some students who've popped their name into that quiz question online, and so if I don't catch up with you before you leave today, I'll certainly email you to sort out any questions that you have.
I'll just take that off for a minute because it makes it a bit clearer. Okay, so, what do we have, another poll? Before we move on,
Let's do other people.
we'll move on now? Yeah, and we can always come back to that. That's okay. All right. So one of the best things about starting uni is meeting other students, meeting your peers, and also getting inspired by the students that you see who've gone before you. That's certainly something that I experienced going through uni is that connection with, of course, connection with the teaching team is, exciting. But most importantly, it's about those connections you make with other students along the way, and it's about those tips for success that often actually the best ones come from people who've lived what you're about to experience. So we'd really like to introduce you to some students who were sitting where you're sitting now not too long ago, to hear from them. So in this next section we're going to hear from one of our students who started in the last year or so. We're also going to introduce you to our student reps and hear a bit more about what the student reps do and how to the services that they can or support that they can offer for you, and how to make contact with and give feedback to the course through them, and then also hear a little bit about the BHS Student Club. But firstly, I'd really like to introduce a student who I've had the pleasure of teaching in my topic just gone in this semester. So Alyssa Calvert, if you'd like to come up and introduce yourself. Yeah, I'll give you a mic. I'll give you this one. That's one that hasn't been used. Okay. So if you just want to tell us a little bit about yourself, Alyssa, and the specialisation that you're enrolled in, and then we've got those pointers on there, but whatever you'd like to share with the group would be very
Sure, no worries. So I'm Alyssa, as Jessie just said, and I'm in my second year of my Bachelor of Health Science in Therapy. So I started off with just applying to Bachelor of Health Science and then choosing therapy as it was sort of the field I wanted to go in. But yeah, I think one of the biggest reasons I chose health sciences was because you can basically do whatever you want. Like, there's so many different fields and so many different areas, and once you start you can always swap and change, and yeah. So eventually I'm hoping to get into occupational therapy, so that'll be an extra 2 years of masters on top of my bachelor, and yeah, I think it's something that I'm really excited to start and do and pursue. But if I choose at the end of my bachelor that's not what I want to do, I could do physio, or I could do med, or I could do oncology. It's really up to me. So yeah, and I think something that I'd wish I'd known when I started was it's a good thing to get involved in your tutorials. I was always the kind of student that stuck at the back of the class and was a bit disruptive. I still sit at the back of the class, but I'm sure Jessie can tell you that I do enjoy contributing to conversation and having a good one-on-one with the tutor whenever I can. Yeah, so I think that's about everything.
Okay. Lovely, thanks, Alyssa. So as Alyssa said, coming in through the BHS and choosing specialisation that can take you somewhere in the future is a really good plan. And also, with that in mind, though, making sure that if you do have a change of plan and you think about trying to get somewhere else, that you just make sure that you check in with us for advice on meeting the prereqs for any postgraduate study that you might be wanting to do. As Jane's already said, she can sort of help you guide you through that. so that you don't necessarily miss the opportunity to meet the prereqs for a postgrad program that you might be thinking of. Okay, so our student reps, we are really lucky to have a fantastic group of student reps this year in 2022. We put the call out every year for our student reps, and so the names on the board are your reps for this year. But having said that, we would really like to have some representation on our student reps group from mid-year students. So if you'd like to take up a role or a spot with the student reps team, and you're a mid-year student, please email. So the email that we put up there for that is actually the Jane's student engagement coordinator email. So if you're interested in the mid-year rep, student rep role, please contact her to put your hand up, and we'd be really, really happy to have a chat with you about what that might entail and if you're willing to join the group. And we'd then obviously go through the process and get you in touch with the student reps themselves. But without further ado, I will hand on to Mitchell, who has very kindly offered to come and meet with us, and we've also got two other students here too. So I'll let you introduce yourselves. If you want to take one of these each, then you can all speak individually. I'll give you one of those. We just need one more, do we?
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, I'll hand over to you.
Yeah, cheers. Oh yeah, I'll get it now.
Right, we just might start off by introducing ourselves. So I'm Mitchell. I'm currently in my third year of the Bachelor of Health Sciences Master of Physiotherapy program, and we'll talk about it in a minute, but I'm also president of the Health Sciences Club.
Hello everyone, so my name is Kevin, and I'm currently in my second year of Bachelor of Health Science and Master of Physio, and I'm also a Vice President of the Health Science Club.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Daniel, first year of the Bachelor of Health Science and the Physio, and I'm also the Treasurer of the Health Science Club.
I'm Dylan, I'm doing Bachelor of Health Sciences Psychology, and I'm also the Secretary of the Health Sciences Club.
And we, just to make note, we are all four of us are also student reps as well, as is up there. So we're on doing both roles. A few of us couldn't make it today, but obviously there are many of us in all different courses currently. So as far as student reps go, we basically act as a point of communication between the students, the cohort, and the staff. So we meet twice a semester with Jane and Sarah Louise and discuss student feedback, whether it's positive or constructive, and striving to find ways to improve the course and delivery of the course.
So in 2021, we did a valuable survey that got us some feedback on the BHS course. We've taken some of this feedback, and you will hopefully experience the results of this in 2022 and beyond. Also, the reps are established a BSH social club, which we will tell you more in a bit.
So just for future reference, if you have any feedback on the course that you have taken or you're going to take, please contact us through our email address or through a Facebook group. And if you see us around campus, don't hesitate to talk to us. And there will also be a new call-out for new student reps at the beginning of this semester and next year. So if you're interested and have any questions, just reach out.
At the end of 2021, the student reps established the Bachelor of Health Sciences Social Club, which enables students to meet others studying the same degree. We are currently planning activities to be held later in the year for the club members, and we would love for your input.
Yeah, so you can sign up for the club by heading to our Facebook page and following the prompts. We've got some handouts in a minute, so that'll make that easy for you. The sign up button's on our Facebook page. Club members are the first ones to hear about future events and merchandise. And we've also got the email for the club, which is on the handout as well. And also an Instagram page, so you can contact us through any of those outlets for future event ideas or any queries, general queries.
No. In terms of merch, we do have some new features which launched pretty much this year. I'll mind just. voting for like that. If you want to order one, we'll have an expression of form interest on our Facebook. Is it? Yeah.
I've got it just here.
Or over here as well. We need to have a minimum of 12 to make an order.
I'll just hold it close.
So it's up to you if you want to sign in or not. This is going to be some form over there. We have different colors and we have them in crew necks and also hoodies. So it's up to you if you want to get one.
So as this is a student club at Flinders, we also receive funding to organize social events. We are already planning a trivia night for later this semester with more details to come. So you can stay in the loop with these details by signing up as a club member or following our social media page. If there's any particular events you'll be interested in attending, feel free to contact us at any time via the social media or the club email.
We've put together a little university cheat sheet with all the tips and tricks we thought would be most useful going forward in your first year of university. On the back it also has a QR code to use, codes to both the club and Student Rep's Facebook page and how to contact us. Thank you everyone.
Yeah. Thank you.
I was going to say also, and we'll put a copy of this, either we'll get an email to you guys that are online or put it on the general BHS page, so everyone will be able to see that. Yeah, thank you.
Sorry, you go first. We're probably going to ask the same question.
I was just going to say, before you disappear off, are there any questions for the student reps from anyone in the room or anyone online? Post them in the live Q&A. Any questions?
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you become student reps? And for those of you who's doing more than one term, why have you stayed?
I can go first. So as a student last semester, or first semester, because I had to do my first year online, and I just have sometimes I just have struggles or concerns that is hard to communicate to the lecturers or tutors directly. So I feel like student rep is a pathway that's really good for students to contact because it is their peers, so it's easier to get your opinions or your struggles, concern out to the student reps, and then the student reps can gather all those opinions and then forward it to the tutors and the lecturers.
For me, it's a great way to have a voice. It's a role that not everyone sticks their hand for up straight away, so someone has to fill it. And yeah, like I said, great way to have a voice as part of the cohort.
Yeah, I think with me, I just really wanted to get involved with feedback stuff. So, I mean, coming into uni, I know there's a lot of barriers and gaps between previous high school, different kind of jobs. So being the middleman between the staff and the student would really help me just come out and help, but just learn about myself and learn about others.
I joined up because I like helping people and I felt like this was a great way to be able to do that, and I also felt like it was a great way to get involved with the university.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Great
for
answers.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you everyone. I have a question. What colours have you got for the hoodie?
There's a little picture down here, so
okay.
if you want to sign up or even just have a look, we have got the 4 colour options, and then they all come in the cruiser hoodies. So I've got the sand colour, and then
I think I got the black one, or the
navy, I reckon.
Navy.
It was. Yeah.
I'm not sure anymore.
Yeah. So yeah, come up and have a look. Even if you're interested, might just walk around and hand these out to have a look at as well. So
Brilliant.
yeah, cheers.
Yeah, the challenge is to, with you'll see if you are not already familiar, but on the Sturt campus, the paramedics have their uniform, there's the nurses who have their uniform, the midwives who have their uniform. So the challenge is to, get your hoodies on so that we can represent health sciences at Sturt. Want to see more of the hoodies in the cafeteria.
Yeah, that's
Right, thank you everyone,
thank
that's
you.
great.
Thank you.
And just also to plug on the back of that, obviously you've probably already seen there would be lots of events happening across the university this week, but the Flinders University Student Association, FUSA is our shorthand term for that. FUSA are a fantastic student representative body, part of the university, who I would recommend that you check out their web pages. And they do lots of student advocacy support around obviously academic advocacy, but also financial. If you're worried about finances at uni, FUSA have lots of different ways in which you can make contact with them and seek support around that. But also lots of other social clubs and associations that you might want to connect with to find your tribe, if you like, at uni. Because that's really important to you to have those social connections whilst you're working your way through.
So we have an online question that I think is for the club. So where do you go to collect the BHS jumpers if you've already purchased one?
Yeah, we've got the map. Oh, yeah. We've already spoken about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're on campus today, so if you hit me up after the session, I can sort that out for you.
Thanks, Mitchell.
And for those online, if you have any questions about that, please do just email the student reps email address, which is there on the slide, bhs.studentreps@flinders.edu.au. Okay. I think that brings us to the end of the session. We can jump back to Q&A for a minute if anyone has any questions that have kind of percolated up as you've been sitting there thinking, watching. Anything else in the room? Yes. Just speak into it. If you speak into that, just that because then the people at home can hear. Thank you.
Do I have to do an honours to get into a master's in psychology?
Jane, you look like you've got the answer to that.
The answer to that question is fairly long, so it might be worth us catching up after the session just to go through your options. Okay.
Yeah. But great to be thinking about that at this point so that you can kind of find your pathway through. Any other questions? No? Nothing else online? Nothing. Okay. As we've said, if any questions pop up, please do get in contact, and that goes without saying, for this session. But as you start off going through your topics, getting up and running in the coming weeks, don't feel that the support drops away. We are always here, even though we might not be here face to face, but we're always at the end of an email address if you need us. Finding your way from here. We've got a couple of options. So if you're here in the room, we have our wonderful student reps who are going to give you just a quick tour of the campus, just to give you a sense of where the most important things are. First on the list, I hope, is coffee. Not that I'm biased on that, that's my drug of choice. But around the campus, give you a bit of a sense of where things are, where the most important spots are to familiarise yourself with. The student reps are here to do that with you. Anyone online who would like some individual advice, or just to sort of check in with Jane, our student engagement coordinator, she's going to be online with those of you if you want to speak to her about anything now. So thank you everyone for coming, and we're really looking forward to seeing you in classes next week, and keep in contact. So what we'll do now for those of you in the room is because I think it's a manageable group. Did you want to sort of...
Are you okay to just take one group, student reps, and figure it out?
Yeah. So if you just have a chat with the student reps at the back there, and then they'll do you a quick tour of the state campus to find your way.
Yeah. And now, I have a list of people who've said that they would like me to catch up with them, and I'll follow you up by email. But I will be around for the rest of the afternoon if you're in the room and you would like to sort any questions out before you go today. If you do, one of the places that the student reps will take you on the tour is S250, the Health Sciences office, and show you where you use the phone and find the staff list to call a staff member. So when you are ready and you come back, you can use that to let me know that you want to have a chat, and I'll come and grab you from there. I've got a list. They're the key places I thought of, but
Yep.
if you guys want to add things. Okay.
All right. Thanks, everyone.